Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Sachin B, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. In today's session, I'm going to continue with the second module, Pumps and Actuators in Fluid Power Engineering subject. It's a bearing a subject code of 18ME 55. Now, before getting into the model 2, you people have studied few of the things regarding about the fluid power system and their components and some of the materials they are used in fluid power system, whether it is a sealing material, filters, etc. Means you come across many of the components in the module 1 about their basic performance and their working nature and their advantages and disadvantages in fluid power system. Even you people have come across the hydraulic system and the pneumatic system in module 1, their brief introduction regarding about those two systems. In this module, I am considering in your syllabus they are given the pumps and actuators as a module 2 name. Means here we people are studying in depth detail about the pumps and actuators. The pumps and actuators are two major components in many of the fluid power engineering or fluid power systems. They are pumps and actuators. When it's come to the pumps and actuators, pumps are the devices which will going to convert one form of energy to another form. Again, the actuator will going to work in the same manner. These two are the prime movers which are used to for the performance for the prime motive force which they will going to provide for any of the system or for any of the medium present or any of the medium it will going to act. Means it will going to give the motive force in many of the systems. When it's come to the pumps uses mechanical energy from the motor and converts into the fluid energy. When it's come to the actuators will going to use the fluid energy supplied by the pump and it converts to the mechanical energy. Means there are a lot of transformation will going to happen from motor to the pump, from pump to the actuators. Means with the help of motor it will going to convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. With the help of that mechanical energy the pump will going to operate. With the help of the conversion of mechanical to fluid energy the motor will going to operate. Means fluid energy is absorbed by the fluid energy is absorbed by the actuator. With the help of that fluid energy the mechanical work will be performed with the help of the actuator. Means all the three are interconnected with each and others. Now in today's session I am going to explain few of the things regarding about the introduction part of the pump and pumps definition and pumping theory and classification of pumps. So these are the topics I am going to cover in today's session. Now when it's come to the introduction part, pumps is a device, mechanical device which converts mechanical energy into the fluid energy. Means this is one form of utilization of energy to converting to the another form. Means with help of utilization of this energy the pump will going to create a suction pressure at its inlet. Means with the help of pressure drop the pump will going to perform. Means at the inlet the pressure variations will going to happen with it will going to create the vacuum pressure at the inlet, due to which it will going to suck the oil or the water from the reservoir, due to which the oil will get flowed to the any of the systems. Means generally if I talk regarding about the pump is a flow generating device. It's a flow generating device. Means it will generate only the flow in any of the system. It is a flow generating device. How the flow is generated? Means there are a lot of pressure differences will going to happen in any of the systems. With the help of the pump will going to overcome in many of the pressures that are present inside the system by creating its own pressure with help of many of the elements present in it, whether it is in the form of the rotary form or whether it is in the form of reciprocating form. When it's come to the rotary form, examples are gears are used in gear pumps, vanes are used in vane pumps, and pistons are used in piston pumps. Means there the internal elements present inside the casing of that particular pump, whether it is a gear whether it is a vanes, whether it is pistons. Means arrangement of cylinder piston arrangement will be there to create a suction pressure. Means flow generating device, means to overcome the pressure inside it, these internal elements will going to play a major role. And I already explained, it uses mechanical energy to fluid energy, means mechanical energy is get converted into fluid energy. That is regarding about the pumps definition and introduction about the pumps. Next is about the pumping theory. Means before understanding any of the things regarding about how the pump will going to perform, pumping theory is necessarily required for us to know about how the pump will going to perform. Okay, here I written the diagram, the basic diagram to explain for the explanation purpose about the pumping theory. You can clearly observe this is the oil tank, this is the cylinder piston arrangement. We'll also call this as the reciprocating pump, because here reciprocate, the piston movement will going to retract and extract, means reciprocating action will going to perform here. For example purpose, I am explanation purpose, I am taking this as an example to explain the pumping theory. Even you can go for rotary devices or rotary pumps for the explanation, but I am considering the reciprocating motion of the cylinder piston arrangement. It is also a reciprocating pump to explain the pumping theory. This is the reservoir tank. To the reservoir tank, the inlet of the pump is get connected. Here one check valve is present over here and another check valve is present here. This one check valve is get connected to the inlet of the pump, reciprocating pump, because once the flow enters here, there is no reverse flow from the inside of the piston again to the reservoir, and at the outlet one more check valve is present. Here this check valve will going to avoid the reverse flow of the any of the system back to the engine cylinder, into the cylinder, because once after the fluid is passed to the any of the system, again reverse flow possibilities will be more. Because of that we are using the check valve. While explaining the components of hydraulic system, I explained in detail regarding about the flow control valve. This check valve is one of the example of flow control valve. Here it is one directional flow control valve because it's allowing the fluid in one direction. Next is the piston is present over here, and the motion of the rod is present over here. Okay, this is regarding about the parts that are present in this diagram. Now when it's come to the explanation, you can clearly observe in the tank the oil or the water is get filled. This is an oil tank, here where they are filling the oil. Here the atmospheric pressure is impacting on that oil in the tank. Once the piston moves from the initial position to the next position, means once the retraction of the piston is going to perform, the suction pressure is get created inside the cylinder. Due to suction pressure, the pressure drop will going to appear in the cylinder head and also in the tank, due to which the pump will going to, or the piston will going to suck the oil from the tank. When the oil is get sucked, here the vacuum is get created, due to which the check valve will get opened. This is one directional flow, means flow direction is possible only in this direction, means due to which the fluid enters the cylinder. Once after the fluid enters, again the piston is moving in opposite direction to get compress the fluid. Once after compression of fluid is over, again that fluid is forward in the direction of the outlet to any of the hydraulic system through the outlet. But here the pressure is getting created with the help of the movement of the piston. By moving the piston and by retracting the piston, by extending the piston, due to which the inlet will going to suck the oil and the outlet will be transferred. Once the oil is get filled over here, after the suction pressure is get created and the piston get moved, retracted to the position, during which the oil is get filled over here. Then there, with the help of check valve, there is no reverse flow of oil back to the tank. Next, once after moving the piston back to the to the position, initial position, the oil will get again, the oil come out of the outlet valve to operate the hydraulic system. Once after the oil is coming out of the hydraulic system, again there is reverse flow direction is avoided with the help of the check valve. Means with the help of this explanation we can clarify that pumping theory is nothing but due to pressure drop present over there, the vacuum created by the pump due to with the suction of the suction is due to suction of the oil from the tank to the required system to perform the operations. Means in pumping theory, with the variation of pressure drop will going to occur, due to which the system will going to perform. Due to variation of pressure, the pump will going to continuously retracting the oil from the tank, whether it is in a fixed amount or whether it is in a variable amount. Means the amount of fluid fixed, amount of fluid sucked from the reservoir tank will be variable form or whether it is in the fixed form. This is regarding about the pumping theory. Next is I will come to the classification of pumps. When it's come to the classification of pumps, there are a lot of things will come to the picture. In general, we can have the clear idea regarding about the classification. If I start explaining about the pumps, generally the basic thing comes to our mind. Pump is used only for the purpose of lifting the water from ground level to the top level, or from passing the fluid from one place to the another floor. That is the only thing will comes to the understanding about the pumps. But why this classification of the pumps in different forms, that is necessarily required? Because necessarily required to know about the applications. When it's come to the applications levels, we can't handle the fluid, whether it is a highly viscous fluid or low viscous fluid, with only one kind of pump. Means for varying the velocity, for varying the viscosity of the fluid, or to varying the pressure of the fluid, or by varying the velocity of the fluid, they are using the pumps based on the applications required. Means generally we will going to think the pump is used only for the lifting the water, but when it's come to the application wise, when it's come to the use of those kinds of pumps in different locations, in different industries or different platforms, we're going to make some classification. In that, the first classification is non-positive displacement pump, and the second classification is positive displacement pump. Means here pumps are classified into only two types, that is major two types, that is non-positive displacement pump and positive displacement pump. This non-positive displacement, what it means is nothing but these kind of pumps are low pressure creating pumps with high flow rate. Means these kinds of pumps will going to create low pressure with high flow rate. Means it can't withstand the high pressure in many of the systems, due to which they are called as non-positive displacement pump. They are called as non-positive displacement pump. When it's come to the non-positive displacement pump, the first classification under is centrifugal pump, and the second one is axial pump, and the third one is radial pump. When it's come to the centrifugal pump, it comes under non-positive displacement pump. Here there are loss of pressure drop will going to occur inside the pump. Means due to pressure drop, it can't continuously supply the fluid in continuous manner. Means due to pressure drop, incontinuous flow will going to happen, due to which the flow rate will also be high and the pressure drop will always be less in centrifugal pump. And also centrifugal pump and radial pumps are similar. They both are same, but in your syllabus they have classified as it is like that. Because of that, explaining about the centrifugal pump and the radial pump. When it's come to the axial pump, axial pumps are the pumps, here the direction of fluid flow will be axial to the rotating shaft. Means the fluid flow axial to the rotating shaft, that is axial pump, and in the radial pump the fluid flows perpendicular to the rotating shaft. Here these are all nothing but the water turbines. These kinds of non-positive displacement pumps are used generally for the purpose of lifting the water from one place to the another place. Applications are agricultural field, in many of the industries, in water treatment plants, etc., etc. Next is about next classification under the pumps is positive displacement pump. When it's come to the positive displacement pump, the first thing we should know about what is this positive displacement pump. In positive displacement pump, the fluid, transferring of the fluid from one end to the another end will be in the fixed rate and there is no pressure drop inside the system. It means this kind of positive displacements are mainly used in many of the applications when it's come to the non-positive displacement pumps. Here the possibility of allowing the fluid to flow inside the pump will be maximum, and also here these kinds of pumps are really required for high pressure areas where the amount of pressure required for any of the applications are required. During that time positive displacement pumps are used. In that positive displacement pumps, the first classification is about rotary type and the second classification is about reciprocating type. When it's come to the rotary type of pumps, in rotary type of pumps, it's clearly indicating that rotary type means here within the casing of that pumping element, the rotary actions or the rotary mechanisms will going to perform with help of the rotating devices. Means in that the first one is gear pump and the second one is vane pump and the third one is screw pump. When it's come to the gear pump, I already explained, rotary type of devices are present inside the gear pump. In that gears are present inside the casing of the pump. Inside the casing of the pump, two gears were present or only one gear is present, or to the casing itself the gear alignment they will going to fix it, due to which the suction pressure is created. In gear pumps, again we have classified into three types: external gear pumps, internal gear pumps, gerotor pumps. When it's come to the external gear pumps, here two gears are meshed each other but they are going to rotate in opposite directions. Due to rotations in opposite directions, it will going to create a suction pressure to lift the oil or to lift the water. Means external gear pumps are used for high viscous fluids, whether it is oil or some in chemical industries they will going to use this external gear pumps. When it's come to the internal gear pumps, this internal gear pumps, the alignment will be totally different. To the casing of that internal gear pumps, the larger gear size will be there and the smaller size gear will be there. The smaller size gear will have lesser teeth and the larger gear size will have the more number of teeth compared to the smaller size, because here the rotation will going to happen internally, due to which it will going to create the suction pressure. Here these kinds of internal gear pumps are used for moderate fluid flow. These kinds of pumps are used for moderate fluid flow. And the next one is gerotor type of gear pumps. Here in gerotor type of gear pumps, it is used as, it is also called as generator type of rotary type pump, because here the rotational movement of those pumps gears will going to create a suction pressure inside the cylinder due to inside the casing, due to which the oil will get lifted. Here the alignment will be totally different when it's come to the external gear pumps and also to the internal gear pumps, because in gerotor type two gears will going to present. Those two gears sizes will also will get differ compared to the external gear pumps, and also the internal gear pump and gerotor type are the same when it's come to the, are not same, but the parts present over it are similar, but the working passion will be totally different. That is about the gerotor type of pumps. Here it is morely used for less moderate viscous fluids, because it can withstand to lift to a higher level as it possible. But when it's come, I already explaining regarding about the fluid level viscous they are lifting. When it's come to the external gear pumps, high viscous fluids can be lifted. When it's come to the internal gear, when it's come to the gyrotar, means it totally depends on the amount of, sorry, the viscosity of the fluid, it will going to differ. Based on that, these kinds of gear pumps are they will going to use. Next is about the vane pump. When it's come to the vane pump, here the vanes are used to lift the water or to create suction pressure. Vanes are used, means with the rotation of the vanes it will going to create the pressure inside the pump. Here in the vane pumps classification, we are going to classify it into two types: fixed displacement and variable displacement vane pump. When it's come to the fixed displacement vane pumps, in rotary pumps the gears are present. In vane pumps, vanes are present. Here the working principle is totally different, or the mechanisms or the motion of the parts inside that casing will be totally different. When it's come to the vane pump, fixed displacement vane pump is the first one. In fixed displacement vane pump, the amount of fluid flowing inside the pump and to the outside the pump will be same, means same amount of fluid is getting flowed from the inlet to the outlet. That is fixed displacement vane pump. In that we have two types: unbalanced type of vane pump and balanced type of vane pump. Means when it's come to the unbalanced vane type of vane pumps, here the balancing of the fluid is not balanced, because it is continuously flowing there, due to which some of the alignments and some of the elements present over it, their pressure drops will going to happen, because the parts that are get aligned or get messed or will be totally different manner when it's come to the unbalanced type. When it's come to the balanced type, there the amount of fluid flowed will be balanced from inlet to the outlet. That is about the fixed displacement vane pump. And the second one is variable displacement vane pump. In variable displacement vane pump, we can clearly observe that the amount of fluid from inlet to the outlet will be keep on varying. Means the pressure created from the elements present inside it will be not in the same manner, because the discharge rate is also keep on changing when it's come to the inlet. That is regarding about the variable displacement vane pump. And the next, in the rotary type of classification, that is about the screw pump. In screw pump, as the name itself indicates, screw pump means within the casing of those pump, their screw alignment will be there. Means two screws, whether they will go for using one screw or two screws or three or four. Means based on the requirement, screw pumps are used. These screw pumps will not going to create a maximum amount of pressure inside the pump, because here the screw arrangement will be there. Due to rotation of that screws, the suction pressure should get created. Screw pumps, again there are four classification I have done: one screw type screw pump, two screw type screw pump, and three screw type screw pump, and the fourth one is four screw pump. Means four screws were there to create the pressure. Based on the requirement, these kinds of screw pumps are generally used in many of the industries. And the next classification under classification of positive displacement pump is reciprocating pumps. We already come across regarding about the reciprocating pumps. Means in rotary pumps, the rotational movement will be there, and when it's come to the reciprocating pump, the linear movement of the piston will be there. That is the only difference between the rotary pump and the reciprocating pump. In reciprocating pumps, the general category and the general performance and the main thing we come across is about we are using the only the cylinder and piston arrangements. Whether how it is possible when it's come to the cylinder piston arrangement, the series of cylinder piston arrangement will going to placed in many of the pumps to get a lot of pressure in the reciprocating pump. When it's come to the pressure variations and the amount of pressure generated by the pumps, the rotary pump will have lesser amount of pressure created when it's come to the reciprocating pump. Reciprocating pump will going to create lot of suction pressure, because in the diagram so we can clearly observe that inside the cylinder the piston arrangement will be there. The piston will have the capacity to retract and going back to the original position. When it's come to the surface of the piston or the cylinder linings, the piston rings were there present over there, which they will going to create lot of pressure in the arrangement. Reciprocating pumps, I am explaining about the reciprocating pumps. There you can clearly observe that the pressure created will be more, because the piston rings will going to get fixed to the cylinder walls, due to which the suction pressure will be created as much as maximum as possible, and the contact area of the piston and the area within the cylinder will be more compared to the rotary type of the piston. In that, the first one is axial piston pump and the second one is radial piston pumps. When it's come to the axial piston pumps, here the flow will be in the axial flow, means in the horizontal flow. In axial piston pumps, the flow of the fluid will be in horizontal way, due to which it's called as axial piston pumps. In that, the first one is inline type and the second one is bent axis. In the first one, inline type, we have three more classification, that is about the variable plate, and the second one is inclined swash plate, and the third one is cam or crank rotational driven type. When it's come to the variable plate, here lot of pistons were arranged in that inline type of the reciprocating pumps. Lot of pistons were arranged, whether with the 4 or 3 pistons were arranged, but the plate will be there. To that plate, the pistons are get connected and the cylinder is present over it, due to which the movement of this plate with the help of that reciprocating motion, it will going to create the suction pressure, that is variable plate. Next, about the inclined swash plate. Here the plate is get inclined to some angle to create a suction pressure, due to which it will going to create a suction pressure. And here also to that plate, lot of pistons arrangement will going to get attached. In variable plate, where a plate will get varied, but when it's come to the inclined swash plate, it is get inclined due to its inclination of that plate rotations. The piston arrangement will going to perform the reciprocating action inside that cylinder to create a suction pressure. And last one is in that inline type is cam or crank type. When it's come to the cam or crank type, here the cam driven type of piston arrangement is done, or the crank type of arrangement will be there to suck the oil or the fluid from any of the system. And the last one is bent axis type. Here the axis of the alignment of the plate, that is not the squash plate and the cylinder, will be in not in the zero deflections. It will bend to the some other inclination to create a suction pressure. That is about the bent axis type. And the one more classification under reciprocating pumps is about the radial piston pumps. Means in radial piston pumps, if the fluid is drawn from the inlet in perpendicular to the rotation of the rotating element present over it, that is radial piston pumps. Means radial piston means rotational. Radial means come to the circumference of that casing whatever present over there. Here the piston arrangement were there due to create a lot of suction pressure inside it. In that, the first one is stationary cylinder block. When it's come to the stationary cylinder block, here cylinder block is get stationed, and only the movement of the piston movement will going to create a lot of suction pressure to suck the water from the tank to the any of the system. And the second one is rotating cylinder block. In rotating cylinder block, the cylinder block will going to keep on rotating, but this swash plate is get fixed, and the piston movement will going to create a suction pressure in the rotating cylinder block. This is regarding about the classification of pumps. When it's come to the classification, I already explained, based on the applications required for us, they will go for the classifying, and also the type of element present over it, whether it is a rotatory element or reciprocating element, and the type of fluid it will going to act, or the type of fluid medium they are using, whether it is a highly viscous medium or less viscous medium. They will go for the they will go for using the different kinds of pumps. This is regarding about the classification and the some introduction part regarding about the pumps, and the theory about the pumping theory that is necessarily required to understand before getting into the any of the topics. In the next session, we will come to know about some of the classification what I explained here regarding about the axial pumps, radial pumps, gear pumps, vane pumps, and piston pumps. This is we are going to study about in the next session. Thank you.